developers are entering the challenge arena to answer one question. Godot versus Unity. Which one is the best?
Our competitors are given a total of 3 hours
To work with their respective programs to produce a chaotic driving simulator in one of the most polluted cities in the world, Lahore. In the end, our judges will play through both games to crown our winner, and between the two, there can only be one. Well, developers, are you ready? Then get set and go!
Hello, I'm Luke, and I'll be voicing the first developer, Shahbaz Awan. I'm a Unity dev working on a game called Lost on Earth, details down below, but let's be honest, you're here for the chaos. I kicked things off by raiding the Unity asset store like a broke game dev on a mission. Free assets? Yes please! The game is set in Lahore, which means I can get away with some creative messiness. After throwing in some terrain, I slapped a texture on it, boom, ground. But then I got a little distracted. One minute I was making a realistic city, and the next there were mountains everywhere. Lahore doesn't have mountains. Well, now it does. Welcome to Lahore Valley. I also covered the whole map in grass, but instead of using 3D models, because RIP performance, I used efficient 2D grass textures. Then came the trees. So many trees. Did I stop when it looked reasonable? Absolutely not. Now the city looks like an apocalyptic jungle.
Hey, it's me, the yellow dude, and I make games, cause why not? So, as usual, I created a new project, named it Cool Car Game, and then did the whole project setup. Then I created a Trello board for writing all of the tasks that I needed to do for the game. We were gonna make a car driving game based on a city, and I had no idea how to do it. So I went to the asset library and downloaded a simple car controller by SR Coder, which was really cool by the way. And then I changed some values here and there, and voila, a cool car controller. Then I downloaded a model of Mehran car, which is pretty famous and goated car in our country. Here's a clip of me driving that car, of course in the game, cause I can't drive a real car.
Let's check in with Shahbaz to see how he's doing.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. After realizing that the trees had completely taken over the city, I finally decided to add roads. The road network of Lahore is already beautiful chaos, so I figured, why not make it even worse? I did my best to connect roads, but honestly, if OSHA saw this, they'd faint on the spot. Then I got distracted again. Just one more monument, I told myself, then another, and another. Before I knew it, I'd built an artistically inaccurate yet artistically impressive version of Lahore. Realizing I'd spent most of my time building Lahore, the Tree Edition, I finally started on the actual game mechanics. First up, the car controller. After an entire 5 minutes of thinking, I grabbed a solid asset from the store. Work smarter, not harder. Then, UI time. Everyone knows that better UI equals better game, so I polished it up with some sleek menus. Just as I was feeling good about my progress, oh look, more bugs. Classic.
Next, it was time to create the environment where the car could go vroom. So I needed some roads, and again, I found this cool plugin called Godot Road Generator by the Duck Cow, and I made some roads with it.
Let's take a moment to tell you about our upcoming game about a haunted art gallery, where you're trapped with the paintings and other works of art. Think you can make it out alive? Subscribe to follow along.
I quickly fixed some weird issues, added sound to the main menu, and, since no Lahore driving experience is complete without it, implemented a game timer where you race around the city, dodging traffic and questionable road laws. And just like that, I submitted my masterpiece right on the deadline. If there's one thing I captured perfectly, it's the true spirit of Lahore. Everyone drives like they have somewhere to be 5 minutes ago.
I wonder what Yellow's up to right now.
And then I added some buildings along the roads, and by some I mean I copied the same building everywhere. Yeah. Anyways, here's another video of me driving in my small town.
So, pros and cons. Let's start with the horror driving, which was made in Godot. It's cute, it's simple, and it's easy to play. Cons is when you drive it, the car responds slowly to the controls. When the car overturns, it's basically game over. So like in general, it's just really hard to control. And for the horror ride from Unity, the process, it's cute, it's easy to play, and the camera work reminds me of the game Need for Speed. And the car doesn't stumble over, returns to position so you can ride again, and it doesn't move on its own while on standby. The cons are the controls are kind of sensitive. When you drive the car, it easily turns and stumbles. So overall, I prefer the low from Unity.
Hi, I liked both games. With the Godot, it did have simpler graphics and the car was a little buggy. I thought it had an odd center of gravity, but I did like the coin collection system. I think it encouraged more exploration. As for the Unity game, I think it had much better visuals, UI, and particle effects. In the end, I think I prefer the Godot game more because it just encouraged a lot more. I found the art style super cute, and I liked exploring like the alleyways and passages behind the buildings too. So my vote would be for Godot.
Both games were well put together, but I think Unity had better visuals and it felt more like the city of Lahore overall to me. Godot's visuals were very charming, but I think the controls felt a little slippery. So in the end, I think Unity delivered more on the theme and it had a better map, so ultimately my vote goes to Unity.
Well, there you have it, everyone. While our judges have tallied up the score and decided on their best pick, tell us down below in the comments which game and which program you like the best. Thanks for joining us through our first showdown in the challenge arena. And don't forget to check out both developers and their games in the description below.